War is the art of deception. Imagine a battlefield where every move is watched, every plan scrutinized. Yet the greatest victories come not from brute force, but from the shadows of deception. Napoleon Bonaparte, one of history's most formidable commanders, declared, "War is the art of deception." These words are not just a glimpse into his military genius. They are a masterclass in strategy, a blueprint for outwitting any opponent. To win, you don't always need the biggest army. You need the sharpest mind, one that knows how to mislead, misdirect, and strike when least expected. Picture yourself facing a rival, whether on a battlefield, in a boardroom, or in the arena of life. What if you could turn their confidence against them, make their strength their weakness, and claim victory before they even realize the game has begun? This is the power of deception, the art of controlling not just the fight, but the mind of your opponent. In this journey, I'll show you how to harness Napoleon's philosophy, to wield surprise and strategy as weapons, so you can outmaneuver anyone who stands in your way. Because when you master the art of deception, you don't just win, you dominate. Deception is not about lies. It's about perception. It's about shaping what your opponent sees, thinks, and believes, so their decisions play into your hand. In war, the stakes are life and death, and Napoleon understood that victory hinges on surprise. Why? Because surprise disrupts. It shatters expectations, throws plans into chaos, and leaves even the strongest armies scrambling. Imagine an enemy so sure of your next move that they position their entire force to counterright only to find you've struck elsewhere where they're weakest. This is the essence of deception, making your opponent see what you want them to see, while your true intentions remain hidden. Strategy is the backbone of this art. It's not enough to be unpredictable. You must be deliberate, calculating every move to exploit your rival's assumptions. Napoleon didn't just fight battles. He fought minds. He knew that the moment you control your opponent's perception, you control the outcome. Think of a chess game where your opponent is so focused on your queen, they miss the knight closing in for checkmate. That's the power of deception. It's silent, invisible, and devastating. Consider why surprise is the ultimate weapon. In war, information is power, but incomplete information is a trap. If your enemy knows your plans, they can counter them. If they're certain of your position, they can fortify theirs. But if they're guessing, doubting, or better yet, completely misled, their every decision becomes a mistake. Napoleon thrived on this principle. He didn't just want to outfight his enemies. He wanted to outthink them. By feeding false intelligence, staging fake retreats, or masking his army's movements, he turned their confidence into vulnerability. The beauty of deception is that it doesn't require overwhelming force. A smaller, nimbler army can crush a giant if it strikes at the right moment, in the right place, when the enemy is looking the wrong way. This is why strategy matters more than strength. A single, well-placed deception can shift the entire balance of power, turning a losing battle into a triumph. And the best part? Your opponent never sees it coming until it's too late. This isn't just theory, it's a mindset. To wield deception, you must train yourself to think like a strategist, to see beyond the obvious, to anticipate how others will misjudge you. Most people react impulsively, moving in straight lines, broadcasting their intentions. But the masters of deception move in silence, their plans cloaked until the decisive moment. They understand that every action sends a signal, and they use those signals to mislead. Picture yourself in a negotiation, dropping hints that make the other side think you're desperate, only to reveal later you hold all the cards. Or in a competition, letting rivals underestimate you while you quietly position yourself for the win. This is Napoleon's genius. He didn't just deceive his enemies, he made them deceive themselves. Their overconfidence, their assumptions, their failure to question what they saw, these were the weapons he turned against them. And you can do the same in any arena by mastering the art of surprise and strategy. Let's strip it down. Deception is about control. Control of information, control of perception, control of the narrative. In war, this might mean sending scouts to create the illusion of a larger force, or spreading rumors of an attack from one direction while you strike from another. But the principle applies everywhere. In life, you face opponents, rivals, challenges, even your own doubts, and the key to victory is making them see what serves your purpose. When you control what others believe, you control how they act. And when you control how they act, you've already won. This is why Napoleon's words resonate beyond the battlefield. War is the art of deception because life is the art of strategy. Every challenge is a battle. Every goal, a campaign, and the one who wins is the one who knows how to mislead, misdirect, and strike with precision. So ask yourself, are you reacting to the world, or are you shaping it? Are you letting others dictate your moves, or are you setting the stage for your victory? Master deception, and you master the game. Picture the Battle of Austerlitz in 1805. Often called Napoleon's masterpiece. Facing the combined might of the Austrian and Russian armies, outnumbered and outgunned, Napoleon didn't rely on brute force. He relied on deception. He deliberately weakened his right flank, making it appear vulnerable, baiting his enemies to attack. They took the bait, pouring troops into what they thought was an easy victory. But Napoleon had planned this. His main force was hidden, waiting to strike at the center of the now stretched enemy line. When he unleashed his attack, the Allied armies were caught off guard, their cohesion shattered. By the time they realized their mistake, Napoleon had already won. This wasn't just a victory of tactics, it was a victory of the mind. He made his enemies see weakness where there was strength, opportunity where there was a trap. Austerlitz shows us the power of deception in action. Napoleon didn't just fight his opponents. He orchestrated their decisions, turning their confidence into their downfall. Imagine having that kind of control, where your rivals walk into your plans because they believe they're winning. This is what makes Napoleon's approach timeless. He didn't overpower his enemies, he outsmarted them. His genius was in knowing that a well-placed illusion could do more damage than 1,000 cannon. When you study his campaigns, you see a pattern. Every move was calculated to mislead, every feint designed to exploit. This is the art of war at its peak, and it's a lesson in how to win not by fighting harder, but by fighting smarter. Now, let's bring this into today's world. The battlefield isn't always made of mud and blood. Sometimes it's a boardroom, a negotiation table, or a competitive market. Napoleon's art of deception lives on in the strategies that drive success in business and life. Think of a startup undercutting a giant corporation. They don't have the resources to compete head-on, so they innovate, pivot, and strike where the giant isn't looking. They create a product that seems niche, unthreatening, until it captures the market. This is deception at work-making. Your opponent underestimates you while you position yourself for the win. Or consider a high-stakes negotiation. You drop hints that you're flexible on price, luring the other side into a false sense of security, only to secure better terms when they overcommit. This is Napoleon's philosophy applied. Control the narrative, shape perceptions, and strike when the moment is right. In business, just like war, information is power, and those who know how to manipulate it hold the advantage. Look at the tech giants of today. Many rose to power, not by announcing their every move, but by quietly building, pivoting, and surprising their competitors. They didn't win by being the loudest, they won by being the most strategic. The lesson is clear. Whether you're launching a company, closing a deal, or navigating a career, deception used ethically and intelligently gives you the edge. It's about making others see what you want them to see, so you can move undetected until victory is yours. The beauty of this approach is its universality. You don't need an army or a corporation to wield deception. It's a mindset, one that anyone can adopt by learning to think strategically. In life, every challenge is a battle, and every battle is won or lost in the mind. When you face a rival, whether it's a competitor, a critic, or even your own limitations, don't meet them head on. Instead, ask, how can I shift their perspective? How can I make them misjudge me? Maybe you let a colleague think you're out of your depth, only to deliver results that stun them. Or you downplay your ambitions in a job interview, letting your skills speak louder than your words. This is the art of deception in everyday life, subtle, calculated, and devastatingly effective. The world rewards those who move with precision, who know when to reveal and when to conceal. Napoleon didn't just teach us how to fight. He taught us how to think. And in a world where everyone is scrambling for attention, the one who masters the art of strategic deception will always rise above. So, next time you face a challenge, don't rush in. Pause, plan, mislead, and watch how the game tilts in your favor, just as it did on the fields of Austerlitz. Imagine standing on the edge of a challenge, facing an opponent who seems unbeatable stronger, more experienced, or better equipped. Most would shrink, convinced the odds are stacked against them. But Napoleon's genius teaches us that victory doesn't belong to the strongest. It belongs to the most creative. War is the art of deception because it demands thinking beyond the obvious, crafting solutions that no one sees coming. To outwit your rival, you must break free from conventional thinking, see the battlefield from angles others miss, and turn limitations into opportunities. Picture a general facing a fortified enemy position. Instead of a frontal assault, he sends a small force to create a diversion, drawing attention away from his main attack through a hidden mountain pass. This is creative thinking, finding the path no one expects. In life, the same principle applies. Whether you're competing for a promotion, launching a business, or navigating a personal struggle, the one who thinks outside the box holds the advantage. Most people follow predictable patterns, sticking to what's safe, what's known. But the masters of deception, like Napoleon, thrive in the unexpected. They question assumptions, challenge norms, and create opportunities where others see obstacles. Imagine you're pitching a project to a skeptical boss. Instead of a standard presentation, you craft a bold, unconventional proposal that flips their perspective, making them see the potential they overlook. This is the power of creative thinking. It disarms, it disrupts, it wins. Creativity and strategy isn't about random ideas. It's about deliberate innovation. It's about asking, what does my opponent expect and how can I defy that? Napoleon didn't just react to his enemies. He shaped their expectations, then shattered them. He might march his army in circles to exaggerate its size, convincing spies he had more troops than he did. Or he'd retreat, luring his enemies into overextending, only to ambush them. This wasn't luck, it was imagination weaponized. You can do the same. In any competitive arena, your greatest asset is your ability to think differently. If everyone is zigging, you zag. If your rivals are focused on price, you compete on value. If they're loud, you're subtle. The world is full of noise and repetition, but the one who dares to be different, to surprise, to innovate, commands attention and respect. Think of history's great inventors or entrepreneurs. They didn't follow the crowd. They saw what others couldn't, created what others wouldn't, and changed the game. Creativity is your edge, your way to turn a losing hand into a winning one. So train yourself to question the obvious. When faced with a problem, don't settle for the first solution. Explore the unconventional, the risky, the bold. Because when you think like Napoleon, no challenge is too big and no opponent is too strong. Now, let's face your rivals head on. In war, business, or life, you're always up against someone, a competitor, a critic, or even your own doubts. Napoleon's art of deception gives you the tools to outmaneuver them, not by fighting harder, but by fighting smarter. The key? Use their strengths against them. Make their confidence your weapon. Picture an opponent who underestimates you, certain they've got you figured out. Let them believe it. Feed their arrogance. Then, when they're overcommitted, strike where they're vulnerable. Napoleon did this at Austerlitz, letting his enemies think his army was weak, only to crush them with a perfectly timed counterattack. You can apply this in any arena. In a negotiation, let the other side think they're in control, then pivot with a demand they didn't see coming. In a job interview, downplay your ambition, then dazzle with results that exceed expectations. The art of deception is about controlling the narrative, making your rivals see what you want them to see, so their moves align with your plan. Most people compete reactively, matching strength for strength, but that's a trap. When you meet force with force, you exhaust yourself. Instead, sidestep, misdirect. Let your opponent's momentum carry them into a mistake. Think of a judo master using an attacker's weight to throw them off balance. This is how you win by turning your rival's energy against them. Facing competition isn't just about outsmarting others. It's about staying unshaken. Your opponent wants to rattle you, to push you into impulsive decisions. Don't give them that power. Stay calm, calculated, and one step ahead. Napoleon never panicked, even when outnumbered. He studied his enemies, anticipated their moves, and struck with precision. You must do the same. Know your rival's weaknesses, their blind spots, their assumptions, their overconfidence. Then exploit them. In business, this might mean targeting a gap in a competitor's product line while they're focused on dominating the mainstream market. In life, it's about staying focused on your goals while others waste energy on drama or distraction. The strongest competitors aren't the loudest or the most aggressive. They're the ones who move with purpose, who see the bigger picture, who know when to act and when to wait. To beat your rivals, train yourself to observe more than you react. Watch their patterns, predict their moves, and craft a strategy that turns their strengths into vulnerabilities. When you master this, no opponent can touch you. You become untouchable. Not because you're louder or stronger, but because you're smarter. You don't just face competition, you control it. Picture a moment where everything hangs in the balancia critical deal, a fierce rivalry, a personal goal teetering on the edge. Most people cling to control, desperate to force the outcome they want. But Napoleon's art of deception teaches us a deeper truth. True power lies in letting go of what you can't control and mastering what you can. In war, no general can predict every move, every betrayal, every twist of fate. Yet Napoleon thrived in chaos, not because he controlled the battlefield, but because he controlled his strategy. He didn't waste energy on the weather, the size of his enemy's army, or the loyalty of his allies. Instead, he focused on what he could shape, his plans, his timing, his deceptions. Imagine an enemy expecting a frontal assault, only to find Napoleon's forces slipping through a fog-covered valley, striking from behind. He didn't fight the fog, he used it. This is the mindset you must adopt. Life is unpredictable. Deals fall through. Rivals outmaneuver you. Plans unravel. If you grip too tightly to what you can't control, you'll drown in frustration. But when you let go, you free yourself to adapt, to pivot, to turn chaos into opportunity. Picture yourself in a negotiation gone sour. The other side backs out unexpectedly. Do you panic? Do you chase them? Number. You let go, reassess, and find a new angle, maybe a better partner, a bolder offer, or a way to make them regret walking away. This is the power of release. It's not surrender, it's strategy. Letting go doesn't mean apathy. It means clarity. It's about redirecting your energy to what moves you forward. Most people sabotage themselves by obsessing over what's out of reach: the client who ghosted them, the competitor who got the upper hand, the mistake they can't undo. They replay scenarios trapped in a cycle of what if. But Napoleon never lingered on losses. After a setback, he didn't sulk. He schemed. He'd analyze, adapt, and strike again, often catching his enemies off guard because they thought he was beaten. You must do the same. When faced with a roadblock, pause. Ask, what can I control here? Maybe it's your next move, your preparation, or the way you present yourself. Focus there and let the rest fall away. Imagine you're vying for a promotion, but someone else gets it. Do you stew in resentment? Or do you let go, sharpen your skills, and position yourself for a bigger opportunity? The strongest minds don't cling to what's gone. They build from what remains. This is how you stay unshaken. The world will throw curveballs, betrayals, failures, surprises, but when you master the art of letting go, you flow like a river around obstacles, unstoppable, untouched. Train yourself to release the uncontrollable, and you'll find a calm that others envy, a strength that turns setbacks into stepping stones. Now let's talk about silence, the ultimate weapon in Napoleon's arsenal. In a world obsessed with noise, where everyone shouts their plans, their victories, their worth, silence is power. Napoleon didn't announce his strategies. He executed them. He didn't boast before a battle. He let his victories speak. Silence is deception's sharpest tool. because it conceals your intentions, leaving others guessing. Picture a rival trying to provoke you, expecting a heated response. You say nothing. Your silence unnerves them, forces them to overthink, to reveal their own weaknesses. Or imagine a business meeting where everyone scrambles to impress, talking over each other. You stay quiet, observing, calculating. When you finally speak, your words carry weight not because they're loud, but because they're rare. This is the art of silence. It creates mystery, shifts power, and gives you control. Napoleon used it masterfully. Before a campaign, he'd keep his plans secret, even from his own generals, revealing only what was necessary at the last moment. His enemies, expecting grand announcements, were left scrambling when his army appeared where they least expected. You can wield this same power. In any arena, the one who speaks less holds more authority. Silence forces others to fill the void, exposing their fears, their doubts, their miscalculations. Silence isn't just restraint, it's strategy. It's about knowing when to reveal and when to conceal. Most people talk too much, desperate to prove themselves, to be seen, to be heard. But every word you speak is a glimpse into your mind. The more you say, the more you expose. The less you say, the more you control. Think of a poker game. The player who betrays nothing, whose face is unreadable, holds the advantage. Napoleon was that player. He'd listen, watch, and wait, letting his enemies talk themselves into mistakes. You can do this too. In a negotiation, don't rush to fill the pause after an offer. Let the other side squirm. Let them sweeten the deal. In a conflict, don't react to provocation. Your silence disarms, making your opponent question their own power. Silence is also a tool for learning. When you talk less, you notice more the hesitation in a rival's voice, the flaw in their logic, the opportunity they've overlooked. This is how you stay ahead, by gathering intelligence while revealing nothing. To master silence, practice restraint. Next time you're tempted to explain, defend, or boast, hold back. Let others talk. Let them wonder. The less they know, the more power you hold. In a world screaming for attention, the one who moves in silence like Napoleon doesn't just compete, they dominate. Your mind is the ultimate battlefield, where every thought, every doubt, every spark of ambition fights for dominance. Napoleon's art of deception wasn't just about outsmarting enemies. It was about mastering himself. To win in war or in life, you must train your mind to be unshakable, to see through chaos, to turn obstacles into opportunities. Most people are slaves to their impulses, reacting to challenges with fear, anger, or hesitation. They see a rival and panic, a setback and despair. But Napoleon saw differently. To him, every challenge was a puzzle, every opponent a mind to manipulate. This is the mindset you must build, a fortress of focus, discipline to outthink any adversary. Imagine facing a crisis, a deal collapsing, a competitor closing in, a dream slipping away. The untrained mind crumbles, clouded by emotion. But the trained mind pauses, assesses, and strikes with precision. This is what made Napoleon unstoppable. He didn't just deceive others. He deceived his own doubts, refusing to let them control him. You can do the same. Train your mind to stay calm under pressure, to see opportunity where others see defeat, to act when others freeze. How do you build this mental fortress? It starts with daily discipline. Just as a soldier drills for battle, you must drill your mind for life's challenges. Begin with awareness. When a problem arises, don't react, observe. Ask, what's really happening here? What can I control? This simple pause rewires your brain, shifting you from impulse to strategy. Napoleon didn't rush into battle. He studied the terrain, the enemy, the moment. You must study your own mind. Notice when fear creeps in, when doubt whispers, when frustration builds. These are your enemies, and you defeat them by refusing to let them rule. Practice small acts of mental toughness. Commit to a task and finish it, no matter how small. Face a fear, even if it's just speaking up in a meeting. Delay gratification. choosing long-term goals over short-term comfort. Each act strengthens your mind, like muscle growing through resistance. Visualization is another weapon. Picture yourself as Napoleon, calm in the storm, outwitting rivals with ease. See yourself navigating challenges with unshakable confidence. The mind believes what you feed it strength. Over time, these habits build a mind that doesn't break, doesn't waver, doesn't bow. You become a strategist, not a reactor, moving through life with the certainty that no obstacle is too big, no rival too strong. Discipline alone isn't enough. You need deception within. Your doubts, your fears, their opponents too. Trick them. When your mind says you can't, counter with, not yet, but I will. When failure looms, reframe it as a lesson, a stepping stone. Napoleon didn't see defeat as final. He saw it as data, a chance to adjust and strike again. This is mental alchemy, turning weakness into power. Most people let their inner voice sabotage them, but you can train yours to be an ally. Speak to yourself like a general rallying troops, firm, focused, unrelenting. And don't stop at your own mind to deceive the world's expectations. Let others underestimate you, doubt you, overlook you. Their misjudgment is your advantage. Napoleon often appeared weaker than he was, luring enemies into traps. You can do this in life. Let rivals think you're outmatched, then surpass them with results. The trained mind doesn't need applause or validation. It thrives in silence, in strategy, in the quiet certainty that victory is coming. This is your power, a mind so sharp, so disciplined, so deceptive that it turns every challenge into a triumph. Build it daily, and you'll walk through life untouchable, unbreakable, unstoppable. Now, let's talk about Mastery the Art of Moving in Silence, the final piece of Napoleon's genius. Real power doesn't shout, it acts. The loudest people, the ones announcing their plans, seeking praise, craving attention, they're often the weakest. They expose their intentions, inviting resistance, doubt, scrutiny. But the masters, like Napoleon, move quietly, their strategies hidden until the moment of impact. Before Austerlitz, he didn't boast of his plans, he executed them. His enemies learned of his brilliance when their armies lay defeated. This is the ultimate deception, letting your results speak louder than your words. In life, too many chase validation, broadcasting their goals, explaining their every move. But every word you share dilutes your power. The more you reveal, the more others can counter. The less you say, the more they wonder, speculate, misjudge. Imagine working on a project, a business, a dream. Instead of posting every step, you grind in silence. When you unveil your success, it hits like a thunderbolt, undeniable, unassailable. This is how you dominate. Not by announcing your moves, but by making them. Moving in silence is strategy, not passivity. It's about choosing when to reveal and when to conceal. Napoleon kept his generals in the dark until the last moment, ensuring no leaks, no betrayal. You can do this too. Keep your ambitions private, your plans close. Let others underestimate you. Let them talk while you work. In a negotiation, don't tip your hand, let the other side guess your limit. In a competition, don't flaunt your progress, let your victory surprise them. Silence builds mystery, and mystery builds power. People fear what they don't understand. Respect what they can't predict. Think of the greatest innovators, leaders, creators. They didn't succeed by shouting, they succeeded by doing. Their work spoke, and the world listened. To master this, practice restraint. Resist the urge to overshare, to seek approval, to prove yourself. Let your actions be your voice. When you feel the need to explain, pause. When you want to boast, redirect that energy into progress. The world will notice, not because you demanded it, but because your results command it. This is the essence of Napoleon's art of deception, a dance of strategy, silence, and surprise that turns the ordinary into the extraordinary. But this is just the beginning. There's more to uncover, more of Napoleon's wisdom, more ways to outthink, outmaneuver, and outshine. What other secrets did he wield to conquer empires? How can you apply them to conquer your own challenges? The journey doesn't end here. Follow the channel, hit that notification bell, and don't miss the next chapter of brilliance. Head to our page to dive into more videos that unpack the strategies of history's greatest minds. Stay curious, stay strategic, and let's keep mastering the art of winning together.